Tashi Delek, everyone. Welcome to the Dudjom Tersar Ngöndro preliminary practice teachings, titled as the foundation class or Ngöndro class. Okay, we'll start first with the opening prayers and Dudjom Tersar Ngöndro, and then the 7 branches and mandala offerings and requesting the teachings and so forth. Please bring in mind the precious motivation of the Bodhicitta, wishing to bring all motherly sentient beings to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. To do so, I will engage in listening to the profound teachings and then bring forth the understanding of the meaning of the profound teachings and thereby engage in my life. Okay.
Dudjom Tersar Ngöndro Lama Chola Sowade Dudjom Tersar
Dudjom Sama Pema Kesa and Dombo Shamsen Chogi Ngöndro Nye Pema June Shiro Odo Ekandro Mambu Goro Jiji Jesu Daro Jinji Labje Shesu Guru Pema Sidi
Okay, page 59, the 7 branch practices. Dorje Lomben Sangen Ben Desum Shulai Chanzen Lon Chonsum Dembe Shenjuro Nime Yeke Chapsu Ching Ejuro Yeke Namdrube Dabe Cheba Shesu Sen Ngöndro Chowo Chebe Gek Neje Malu Shaparage Chojo Korosum Dabe Che Macha Chelai Jeye Ram Dabe Tashi Delek Zobe Janshu Semge Do Deshe Janshu Sembal Daba Sumge Lubel Lo Tsera Rambe Gewanam Dune Janshu Chemboro. Now the mandala offering. Sanjin Ben Chun Jun Shin Men Don Dram Re Rai Ling Shin Nin Den Gen Bai De Sangye Shin Du Me Te Pe Wa Ye Dro Kun Nam Dai Shin Lai Che Parasho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryata Yami. Now the prayers requesting teachings. Semje Namke Sambadan Loye Jedra Jeda Chechon Tunmon Tepaye Cheke Korolo Korodu Sal Dusum Sange Tamje Kingo Rigdang Gil Korijam Soy Chamda Kadrin Sungda Mache Ba Dinchen Sawe Lame Shabge Pemo Duljima Me Bala Gosum Ge Ba Chembe Chatsal Jing Chapsu Chu Jinge La Barazen Du Sang Temba Lame Sange Rimbo Che Choba Lame Damche Rim Temba Lame Gede Rimbo Che Jamne Gonsho Sumla Chatsalo Tapke Tuje Shakcha Resort Shinge Mitu Dige Bongjomba Serge Limbo Tambur Jinpenko Shache Gembo Shamla Chatsalo Palden Sone Chuder Suban Le Kenze Ye Garange Sandru Charabeb Ganjen Kedro Yonke Tujen Cho Soge Dorje Drove Lama Hande Lama Dangembo Jezen Chambe Yangla Chanselo Gange Lodre Dimne Dinder Nidarananda Rapsewe Jene Dingun Jejin Ziche Nige Togran Lembamzin Kanda Siddhe Tsenrar Mare Mintum Dungen Gizewe Drozo Kunla Buche Tarze Yanla Drochoe Yandenso Dr. Chandron Ninmo Nilon Leke Jandro Dreze Che Mare Munsan Dungen Yugo Jene Chenze Redin Dene Dachen Sacho Tase Yenten Lunzo Gense Tuwe Ko Chota Chodan Chone Genche Dalu Munse Jambe Yanla Ramtu De Omara Bazana De Omara Bazana Omara Bazana De Omara Bazana De Omara Bazana De Omara Bazana Omara Bazana De Tende Keke Kenra Zerge Dalu Timo Membarapsen Kada Deje Shulu Tombaye Lonje Bombe Nawa Zendo Sen Chego Gondo Zambo Gombaye Dorje Semba Garam Dorje Dan Shire Singe Bardo Jilabde De Dama Jen Dada De Sumge Zochen Jube Lama La Sewande Ugen Pema June La Sewande Munse Ugen Chembe Chengar Munse Ugen Rizzen Yuden Tse Maon De Shem Ba Taye Jam Dada Pejun Gelsam Drobenge Jigdra Yeshe Dorje La Sewa Hande Sangye Kunye Chime Pema Jung Shingdir Trube Zilzin Long Chenje Gangi Yangse Tile Norbo La Sewa Dem So Dreme Jingen Lo Choge Lama Namge Gel Samto Wangur Longze Chome Shendenje Bebe Nel Joro Kunban Zo Chemba Sangye Doje Shamla Sewa Dem Omen Chege Yenge Podana De Sum Sangye Kunge Ngo Nedrang Sem Chego and Sum Dendeba Zawe Lame Shamla Sewa Dem Nelo Toba Kewara Chenjelo Legbara Shempa Boba Kendo Sal Namkhadan Yambe Simchen Tamche Namken Denge Dewa Lana Machi Ba Yangda Barazombe Jancho Rimboche Chene Chantobaja De Chindu Che Zamo de Suljundo Sende Tenyam Sulembrigio, Yamba Samba Jancho. Chanchu Simge Kolondan Chebegon Nesembraju. So please bring in your mind the precious motivation of the Bodhisattva, wishing to bring all motherly sentient beings to the state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. To do so, I will engage in listening to the profound teachings and bring forth the understanding of the meaning of the profound teachings and thereby engage in my life. So like that, you give rise to the precious motivation of the Bodhisattva on the vast aspiration of the Bodhisattva. And likewise too, you need to cultivate the profound skillful method of secret tantra as mentioned in the teachings. So cultivating all of those, please listen to the teachings. The teachings that we are receiving is on the Dudjom Tersar Ngöndro, or the preliminary practice of the Dudjom Tersar lineage. So far we have completed, and now we are on to the last part of the teachings. So it is following the Phawa teachings. So now we come to the practice of Chöd and the dedication and so forth. Okay, the first two lines of the dedication prayer is the practice of Chöd. So recite Dani Luda Longche Getzarche Majur Drola Pangba Me Partang. So it says, now my body's possessions and the source of my virtue gathered together, I give without clinging to all motherly beings. So this condenses the practice of Chöd. Chöd is to cut. Chöd means to cut attachment to the solidity of grasping at self and reality. So when we say attachment, we have this habit that from timeless beginning, since we have given rise to this bewilderment or ignorance, that we somehow kind of fell into grasping, thinking that something is real externally, something is real internally. So to that one we grasp as, we say as form externally, and to ego as self, like that. And then this became, we thought that this is the reality, so this is the confused reality of sentient beings. There are three levels of Chöd. Chöd is to cut that ego, cut that selfish ego, or that I, we say, grasping into personal identity, which is ego, and grasping to phenomena as existing. So there are two kinds of grasping as mentioned: externally as object, internally as ego, like that. There are three levels of Chöd: outer, inner, and secret. The outer Chöd is done in graveyards, charnel grounds, or fearful places. So these yogis or wandering practitioners, they go to all these powerful places like graveyard, haunted houses, isolated place, and power places where there are a lot of spirits and disturbing spirits and so forth. So they go there to practice. So this is the outer Chöd. The outer Chöd is to go out into these kind of powerful places. Practicing in a scary place can cause fear to arise. So intentionally they go there because we say they have like haunted spirits and so forth, like in the charnel ground. Here when you go to the cemeteries and so forth, you feel very peaceful. But then in Asia, if you go to like the charnel grounds and so forth, you can really feel the energy. It's kind of tense, so like that. So practitioners go there to make their offering of their body to these spirits there. Practicing in a scary place can cause fear to arise. So then your mind just naturally kind of makes this concept, like this, lot of, concepts like some spirit is watching you or disturbing you and so on and so forth. You intentionally go there to practice. So that places like that can cause fear to arise. Use this fear as the practice. Cut it by examining who is experiencing it, who is there to be afraid of, who is afraid of whom. So those are the ways to kind of get over that duality of who is afraid and who is kind of making you afraid and so on and so forth like that. Cut the dualistic concept of who is having fear and who is being feared. Feel and recognize fear as the self-grasping of ego. On the ultimate level, there is no duality and nothing to be feared. In this way, mind is liberated into a fearless wisdom mind. So, through that chud practice, so this is how you do. And while you are there, now you engage in the inner chud. In the inner chud practice, we give away our body, because we hold our body as our most precious possession. It is our ultimate attachment. So when we talk about offering or giving and so forth, we might be able to give our possession and so forth, but still we cherish and cling to our body very dearly like that. So this is now the next level of practicing generosity, is to give your body, to offer your body. So that's the inner chud practice. And this is also like how we cling into our ego like that. So inwardly we are so much attached to our body and so forth. So this practice kind of sever or free us from that selfish grasping and ego grasping. Visualize offering the body transformed into a feast of wisdom nectar to all beings, including all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all those with whom you have passed karmic debts, and those who create all kinds of obstacles. So while you are practicing this chud, making your body offering, which is called the offering toward the higher guest, generosity to the lower guest. So we usually have 4 kinds of guests. So the highest guest of reverence, called the awakened ones, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and so forth. And then the guest of honor, like the Dharma protectors, the guest of qualities, the Dharma protectors, and those who aid toward those inclined to positivity and so those are Dharma protectors. And so these 2 kinds of guests are called the higher guests. To them we make this offering. We visualize this body as wisdom nectar, and then we make offerings to them. And then the 2 other kinds of guests are called the lower guest, toward sentient beings who are the guest of our compassion. So we visualize this offering going out to them as whatever they wish for, like wish fulfilling jewel, wish fulfilling tree, and so forth like that. It goes out, and whatever they're wishing for, it they receive them like that. And then the last guest is called the guest of karmic debts. Those are those of whom from whom that we have eaten their meat, or we have used their flesh and bones and milk and so on and so forth. So we have karmic debts with them. So, and then they are waiting very eagerly and anticipating that we would pay them back. So they are called the guests of karmic debts. And to them, then we make this offering. We visualize, and those who wish for home, for houses, spouse, friends, food, drinks, and medicine, and so forth, like that. It goes out, and then whatever they're wishing for, it appears to them exactly like that they have wished for. So those two lower guests, to them we make this as generosity. So practice this. This is considered the greatest act of charity. The main point of the inner chod is cutting through self-cherishing mind into the state of the wisdom of selflessness. So, anyway, like that. The secret level of chod cuts through dualistic self or ego grasping and liberates into the state of the ultimate truth, the nature of Dharma Dhatu. So, secret chod is to cut all dualistic grasping. We also call the conceptual obscurations. So that is ignorance. Conceptual obscurations, open ignorance, and all other emotional obscurations, our afflictions and so forth, are based on top of that conceptual obscuration. So to cut that dualistic habit of ours, or the dualistic grasping, into the nature of the ultimate truth, which is the basic space of phenomena, like that. Chod is a practice for accumulation of merit and wisdom. So when we practice this, we perfect merit, we accumulate merit, and then we also accumulate wisdom. So in order to attain Buddhahood, we need to perfect these two accumulation, called accumulation of merit and accumulation of wisdom. So through wisdom we attain Dharmakaya, the ultimate body of awakening, and then through merit we manifest, or we attain the form body, or the emanation body of awakening, like that. So therefore it's important that we need to perfect the accumulation of merit and wisdom. The generosity of giving the body creates tremendous merit. So this practice is one of the most skillful way of accumulation of merit, because as I told you that we cling so much to our body, and when we practice to learn to give this as an offering, we accumulate tremendous merit. When attachment and grasping to self is severed, the wisdom of selflessness is attained. In Chod practice, we cut ego grasping with the realization of selflessness. And so, just a simple way of how the Chod practice is done. You go to the charnel ground or wherever you're practicing, and then with an utterance of pet, those two syllables are called the syllable or the letters of skillful method and wisdom, like that. So when they are put together, they become the inseparability of wisdom and skillful method, like that. So as soon as you utter pet, your ordinary habit, your consciousness kind of exits from your center. You're here in Brahma, picture all this crown fontanelle, like that. Then give rise to the mother Dakini, exactly here. See in the picture, you see that's Tramanagma. So she is that deity. So you immediately visualize your true nature as the wisdom Dakini. Your body is collapsed down like a corpse, and then you see that your body is very rich and juicy and nutritious and delicious and so forth. And then that one, through the blessings of wisdom, body, speech and mind syllable, Omahu, then transforms into wisdom nectar, and like that, those are the practices how it is done. So those are the skillful ways, means of accumulating tremendous merit. When the attachment to I is cut, then our small piece of mind is naturally liberated into the vast, sky-like nature of Buddha's omniscient, all-pervasive wisdom mind. Just like pet, you say, and then your one's own pristine awareness gives rise to the primordial Dakini, obviously the wisdom Dakini, like that. And this is how, and then we see that our habitual body kind of that, what we say, our corporal body is kind of collapsed down, and that is the, and without being attached, as otherwise our mind would be on and witnessing that still and be attached to that body. But rather through this kind of practice, then one learns to make this up, make the offering, called the offerings and generosity, or practice of charity, practicing charity or generosity, like that. So that's how we offer our body as chud practice. So now the next part is the dedication of merit. The dedication of merit is the final dedication and wish that all of the virtuous activity you have accumulated be for the benefit of all sentient beings. Recite the line Droden Lapchen Gengme Drubarasho, Droden Lapchen Gengme Drubarasho, Droden Lapchen Gengme Drubarasho. In the verse there are 3 lines, so the 2 lines for chud practice, and then the last line for dedication. So usually we recite that 2 times, 3 times, like that. So dedication is, we have practice like we did earlier when we started to request the teachings, the 7 branch prayer. There is the offering, prostrations, rejoicing, and then confession, and then so on and so forth. There are 7. The last one is dedication. Dedication is an antidote to our skepticism or our uncertainty or doubt. So, first of all, sentient beings lack the trust and the confidence in practicing, thinking that when we practice, we are doing something positive. So, in degenerate times, sentient beings lack that kind of discerning awareness, or that kind of positivity, or that kind of merit. So, and then even if one practices, then one does not feel that one has done any kind of meritorious act, and then they fail to dedicate. So in order to overcome that kind of afflictions, or that kind of mental concepts and so forth, so then dedication is important. So dedication is called the antidote to our doubt and hesitation or uncertainty. So whatever practice we have done, we accumulate merit. This is something very, very positive. When we know in this way, then we engage our time, we allocate our time into practicing like that. So that's how we build our practice. So maybe we start in the beginning by investing 5 minutes sitting on the cushion, and slowly 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then half an hour, and then 1 hour, and so forth. So that's how we stabilize our practice. And then whatever we have done while we are on the cushion, through our good intention and so forth, we accumulate merit. So merit needs to be dedicated. So when we say when we dedicate merit, there are 5 points. Who is actually witnessing our dedication? It's called the wisdom eye, the eye of omniscience, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That is also what we call the true nature. It is the unfailing nature. Whatever we have accumulated, we dedicate. When we dedicate, there is a result out of it. So first one is, who is witnessing our dedication? The second one is, what should we dedicate? What are we dedicating? So we are dedicating the merit and the virtue accumulated through our practice. When we say that, what we have accumulated now, what we had accumulated in the past, and what we will be accumulating in the future. So that one, and then we all of those merit that we have accumulated, they are called the tainted, or we have some kind of expectations, because it's tainted, because it has been stained by our expectation, thinking that something good will happen, or then we expect that in return something might happen. So it's called tainted deeds or tainted virtue or merit. And then along with that, we bring the untainted or the unstained merit and virtue of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We gather all together and then make it into a huge pile, or like a huge, and then that's how we dedicate. So that's what we are dedicating. And then the third one is, whom should we dedicate to? To all beings, to all sentient beings. That's how we are practicing through Bodhicitta, that we don't omit any single beings out. We have this, no sentient beings are left out. So for all sentient beings, that is how our intention encompasses all sentient beings within the limit of space, like that. And particularly to the sick and those who make those people sick, like we usually talk about the harm inflictors. So those who are sick and those who are making them sick and so forth. And then those who are dead, and then those who committed murder and so on and so forth, like all those who had engaged in negativities and so forth. Those are whom we dedicate toward, like that. And then how long, for what purpose, to what extent do we dedicate? This is like the fourth one. So in that one, because of Bodhicitta, we say, because it's intended with Bodhicitta to benefit all sentient beings, we say there are 2 points to that. To benefit all sentient beings so that they are freed from suffering, and then to ultimately bring them to the state of Buddhahood. So those are the 2 aims. So that's the extent, and when we say that omniscient or perfectly complete awakened Buddhahood, the ultimate result. And then the final one is, how should we dedicate? Then dedicating in an authentic way. If it's possible, we usually say dedicating beyond the duality of subject, object, and action. So, but this is something difficult for beginners and so forth. Like Buddhas, their dedication is free from expectations or free from that conceptualization of subject, object, and action. So that's how we need to dedicate. Although we might not be able to dedicate in that way as a beginner, as a practitioner on the path, then we can copy, we can emulate how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have dedicated. So that's why when we recite the dedication prayer, we say, just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri and Samanda Bhadra too, dedicated for the benefit of all sentient beings, as dedication being praised as the supreme of all by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, likewise I will dedicate. So those verses of dedication. And then also, we take this one verse, this stanza from the Jataka. Jataka is the series of lifetimes that before he became the Buddha, when we trace back his life, it goes down to like the first instant of when Buddha Shakyamuni gave rise to Bodhicitta was when he was in the hell realm. Remember the story that he was along with his friend, they were pulling the cart, and then the henchman of hell was striking on this, and pull and striking on that one. So his friend who was pulling the cart would collapse because he was so exhausted that he would collapse. But then he felt so sorry, even he was collapsed, the henchman would kind of strike him and then waking up and then make him pull. So then he said, like, leave him alone, I will pull for him, like that. So that's the instant of kind thought that he gave rise in hell. So the henchman got so angry, and then he, slashed or hit him with that whip, and then he died. And the next instant he was born in the 33 God realm because of that pure intention, giving rise. So that instant is considered that was the first instant or the first time that he had cultivated Bodhicitta. So ever since that he made this, he recited this aspiration of dedication, saying, like Sonam, or how would you say, through this merit may all sentient beings attain omniscience, and may all enemies of defilements be vanquished, and so on and so forth. Remember, we have that dedication. That one is taken out. That was the verse that he would recite as dedication. So that's why we as followers of Buddha, then we recite that one. So you now know that this is the way to dedicate. And then also, why do we need to dedicate is, we have done something positive. If we don't dedicate, then the next moment we give rise to anger, that virtue is kind of exhausted or squandered or lost. So before that happens, we need to dedicate, like that. And it is also mentioned, like, that tiny merit is like a drop of water. Before it is destroyed or encounters any kind of obstacles or hindrances, we take that water and pour it into the ocean, and until the ocean runs dry, that water will exist or remain there. So likewise, we dedicate in a manner that how the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have dedicated. So Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dedicate for the awakening of all sentient beings to enlightenment or to Buddhahood, and to free from all sufferings, like that. So this is how we dedicate. So that's important. So see now what it means is that this is the antidote to our doubt and hesitation. Most of the time we don't even think of dedicating because we think we haven't done anything worthy or to be dedicated. So that is because you lack the confidence that you have done something. So when we practice in such way, this becomes the antidote to our skepticism, to our uncertainty, to our doubt, and so forth. So therefore it's very important that we dedicate. By dedicating the merit, you are accumulating it in a lasting way. Without dedication, any positive accumulation can easily be destroyed. For example, if you become angry, you can destroy all the positive accumulation of one eon. It's mentioned like that, yes. All the merit that accumulated through practicing generosity and kind heart and all of those, a moment of anger can completely wipe out like that. So, and that generosity and merit that you accumulated through one eon, it's not just like for a short time, from one eon, will be destroyed by a spark, by an instant of anger. So therefore it's important. So every time you need to dedicate. Dedication of merit is like planting a seed in the ground or depositing all your accumulation of merit into a bank. It will grow until you reach enlightenment. It is extremely important to dedicate the merit of any Dharma activity you perform. In whatever practice you do, there are three things to remember. First, establish the motivation to benefit all beings. So that's the main guiding principle or the key point, that every time you begin, we begin with that intention, which is called the virtuous beginning or the virtuous opening. That's with the intention that I want to bring benefit to all sentient beings. So that's intended with Bodhicitta. So that action becomes vast. If you don't have that intention, then any action that you do is very small. For example, like meditating without that intention is just meditation. But with that intention that you want to benefit all sentient beings, that meditation becomes inconceivably beneficial or powerful like that. So that is the motivation. Second, while you are applying your practice or engaging in any kind of actions, apply your concentration to the practice or activity. So we usually say in the main phase, non-conceptualizing or focused and concentrated. Then we would say that. So, but as you practice more, then you become, you make your practice free from all concepts, free from all this free from your mental habits and so forth. So that way, your practice does not encounter any obstacle. Otherwise, if it is just mentally practiced or practiced through your mental habits, then it can easily encounter obstacles and hindrances and so forth. When you practice concentrated and focused and free from conceptualization, then it has no obstacles whatever. So that's the second way. The second, applying your concentration to the practice or activity. And then finally, the third one, dedicate the merit. So when you dedicate the merit, it becomes inexhaustible. It is like a wish-fulfilling tree that it never ends. Like the other kind of, there is only one result to what you have planted. But that when you dedicate for the Buddhahood of all sentient beings, it becomes like a wish-fulfilling jewel. So however much you take and wish from it, it never ends. It is inexhaustible. So likewise. So therefore, dedication is. So third, dedicate the merit. Without the motivation of Bodhicitta, your practice will never go beyond the realm of samsara. Without your motivation for benefiting all sentient beings, your practice will be all worldly. That's why when we practice, we always bring this true intention. Remember earlier we were saying, aimed through or focused through great compassion to eliminate the suffering of all sentient beings and the cause of suffering like that. Aimed through wisdom, that you want to establish all motherly sentient beings to the state of perfectly and complete Buddhahood like that. So therefore, if you don't have that intention, then all practice just becomes worldly practice. It cannot transcend because it's just ordinary. Okay. It will never be connected with nirvana or enlightenment. Without concentration, your meditation session will be taken over by obstacles. And earlier, as I mentioned, if it's just your ordinary concept, caught in your ordinary concepts, then you again and again you will encounter obstacles and hindrances. So when you are concentrated and when you are free from conceptualization, your meditation or your practice becomes free from any kind of hindrances or obstacles like that. Without dedication, your wild emotions can immediately destroy your accumulation of merit. If you always carefully check these 3 points, then any practice you will do will be blessed. That's the end of the commentary by Lama Tharchan Rinpoche. This is such a beautiful book, and that's why I chose that we would use this for the foundation class. So I'll now read the colophon that Rinpoche has. This is also very encouraging. The colophon says, "Personally, because I love all my Dharma friends very much, I want to encourage you to do the Ngöndro practice." Ngöndro is the preliminary practice. Remember, it's the foundation. It's the what goes before the main practice. The foundation is very important. Again, if you go back to our previous teachings, you'll understand why foundation is important. Otherwise, you'll always be shaky. Just like without proper foundation, you're trying to build anything, is, how do you say, it's prone to collapsing. So like that. Also Lama Tharshan, which he gave this example earlier, that without foundation is like trying to build a building or house on top of a lake or a frozen lake. So when spring comes, then when the water melts, everything will collapse. So like that, it's important that we need to engage in the foundation practice. So Lama Tharshan Rinpoche encourages all his Dharma brothers and sisters to do Ngöndro practice. There is no doubt that the practice of Ngöndro will give you the realization of Buddhahood. It has been proven by all past, present, and future Buddhas who have used this faultless, great single path to attain enlightenment, and who have taught it to their followers. We usually talk about, when we talk about a path, path is like a road. The road, when we talk about destination. So then that path has to be free from any kind of obstacles, free from error, and so forth. So Buddha path too, we say complete, unerring, unmistaken. If the path is not complete, you will not get there. So the path has to be complete. Path has to be free from any mistakes, flaws, and so forth. So a flawed path will never be able to take you to the destination. So unerring path, an unmistaken path can take you to. So therefore, the Buddhas of the path, the masters of all of those in the past, present, and future have always taught this the faultless great single path to attain Buddhahood, and have taught to their followers. Please have faith and do practice. In this way, realization will arise naturally in your heart. This is my personal request to all of you who are my Dharma friends. Actually, there is no need for me to write this down because many wonderful Ngöndro teachings written by many sublime teachers already exist. So Lama Tharshan Rinpoche is humbling himself here. So I'm saying, there are many other Ngöndro commentaries and teachings and so forth. So in comparison to other teachers' Ngöndro teachings, which are like the sun, my teaching is like a little gossip, like a firefly. But my Dharma brothers and sisters asked me to describe this practice in simple language, so I wrote this with my pure motivation. It is possible there are many mistakes due to my not having wisdom and not knowing the English language. Any mistakes that have been made in the meaning or words, I confess to my Guru. If there is some resulting benefit, then I dedicate that merit to all sentient beings. I pray that this simple teaching may benefit many practitioners and accumulate inconceivable merit and wisdom. I make the wish that we be reborn in Guru Rinpoche's pure land of lotus light, and that we will all attain enlightenment in the same mandala. This was requested by the Vajrayana Foundation Sangha, who are inseparably bound together through their pure intention, motivation, and samaya. This was spoken by the old beggar crazy yogi Dudjom Tersar and written down by my heart friend Choying Wangmo. May all be auspicious. Sarva Mangalam. So that closes and then following the glossaries, usually in the Dharma teachings and so forth. There are so many words that are borrowed from Sanskrit, from Tibetan, and so forth. Because English language still has, we still have to find the right terminology, the right words, and so forth. So English language is rich in describing material phenomena. But when it comes to describe formless phenomena like wisdom phenomena, it falls short there. So therefore this Dharma glossary, the Dharma, glossary of Dharma terms follow with that like that. So you can go through that and learn those. Just like you in English you use many language like so forth, other languages and so forth. It's nice that you learn some Dharma vocabularies, and then this is good. So okay, that's it. So any questions? So yeah, similarly like that, I encourage everyone to practice Ngöndro. As I mentioned again, Ngöndro is something that gives you confidence. So by the end of your accumulation, there is some special kind of confidence that nobody else can install and instill in you, that there is a confidence that you gain, and that is what we call as the unshakable faith. Until that point, then you practice for many years, and then you fall back, you turn into an ordinary person and act as if you have never heard the Dharma, you have never studied, or you have never heard the teachings of the Buddha. Why? Because there's no stability, there's no foundation. So this kind of practice takes you to a place where you have a firm, stable foundation. So it's very, very important. So please practice.
I have a question. Can you say more about source of my virtue? The source of my virtue gathers together.
Yeah, source of virtue is whatever we have done. That becomes, in order to dedicate, we have to have something. We have to have something. So here Lama Thachan, which kind of cuts short, but in this that's Doden Lapchen Gegme Dubar show, it's may I accomplish great waves of benefit unobstructedly for all beings. When we talk about dedication, there has to be something. Without merit, there is no way to dedicate. So what are we dedicating? We are dedicating something that we engage, and then resulted something out of what we engage, that is called merit, okay, or virtue. So that one becomes the root, that becomes the cause, yes. And not just our accumulation merit is very weak. So that's why the way how to dedicate mentions that together with that one, we bring all the merit, the untainted merit of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we group them together, and then we dedicate. Like the other example that I gave you was bringing that drop of water and putting in the ocean, and adding it into the ocean, and then that remains as long as the ocean runs dry. Yeah. So therefore, in order for you to dedicate, there should be some kind of cause or some kind of root. But for aspiration, you don't need. So he says, may I accomplish great waves of benefit. Your aspiration can be boundless. You can aspire that may all sentient beings attain Buddhahood right now, right at this moment. Such kind of aspiration. May they awaken to Buddhahood in the midst of their confusion. That kind of aspiration has no limit, and aspiration does not need any cause. But for dedication, you need merit. So therefore, it's called the cause. What was the word you said? What was the actual word that you mentioned?
Oh, now I buy some possessions, and the source of my virtue.
Source, yeah. Source of virtue is that one, yes.
Yeah.
So you use that one. So let's say we meditated for 10 minutes, or we chanted mantras and like that, and then the result of that one is the merit or the virtue we accumulated. That is what we use, and what we, it's called chen. That is what we now place as the main object. Onto that one we bring all the accumulated merit of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, pile them together, and dedicate for all sentient beings. So that becomes the source. Yes?
I have a generic question that I've had blazing in my mind for a while. In the East and the West, wherever, and in Hinduism and yoga and everything, we refer to the three vehicles, I guess you would say. You have body, mind, and emotions, or body, mind, and heart, or mental, emotional, and body, the three vehicles. But in Tibetan Buddhism, they call it body, speech, and mind. And I could never understand that. I've had maybe some insights into it lately, but why do they call it speech as opposed to calling it in the emotional body or emotional reaction? Because to me, speech might be related to the mind. The mind and the speech seems like they're, an extension of each other. So how is it speech and they don't refer to the emotional body?
Yeah, in the Tibetan, in the Dharma, it's not just Tibetan, it's in the Dharma. It is called the three doorways, the three avenues of how we express ourselves. Physically, we say body. So whatever actions that we do, this is kind of, that can be seen. We connect. So like we touch is something tangible, yes? Then that's called physical. So the actions through our body, those are called physical. So anything related, that's it. And then comes speech, which is half and half, which kind of tangible at the same time intangible. It's half and half speech, yeah, like echo. You can kind of hear, but at the same time, you cannot grasp the words. Meaning you cannot touch the words, yeah. So that's why it's called speech. These are all, and then anyway, for now like that. So it's like half tangible, half intangible. And then mind, intangible. So three ways: physically, verbally, mentally. So these are also like the different planes of existence. We only think that we're existing physically, but there is the inner plane of existence, which is half tangible, half intangible. Yeah. So, and then there is the mind aspect, which is intangible like that. So, in that plane that we exist, right? So then we express our emotions in this way, physically, verbally, mentally. Yeah.
Well, how come they don't refer to emotions? Are they the emotional body or emotional vehicle like other systems do?
Yeah, that's why I told you emotion is mental, but it can be expressed physically or verbally. So like when you get angry, then you curse or you swear and so forth. It's expressing through words, yeah. And then you express through body. For example, you are angry and you strike at someone. You kick someone or you beat someone or you hurt others like that. So this is the physical expression like that. And then of course mental expression is there. Then you can hold on to your anger and to your all the irritation and so forth, and then you can, from there you can generate more hate toward others, more anger toward others, and then that reactions are what you call the after effect of that one then making you more, unhappy and angry and so on and so forth. So
I recently, a few days ago, went to a lecture on acupuncture, and they were saying that the tongue and the heart, and acupuncture meridian, I don't know, Leroy couldn't say, but that the tongue and the heart are connected. Of course, maybe emotion. So when you say you speak from the heart, for instance, you speak from true emotions, and that maybe the heart or the emotions, most systems would say, is reflected in the way one expresses speech.
yes, everything is connected. Everything is connected. So then we can do actions connected to our heart, and then we could talk about actions connected to the mind. Here, how would an action connected with the mind, where the mind is intangible, yes, cannot be touched, then how can you try to connect mind which is intangible to a form or physical body that is tangible? Yeah, how can you connect that? So there is a connection. Yes, there is a connection. So then if you intend with good heart or with a good intention, whatever you do to others is beneficial. Whatever you say to others is beneficial. Yes, see, there's the connection. But again, at the same time, if you do something with a not good intention, then whatever you do can hurt or harm others. Whatever you say can hurt and harm others. So yes, there is connection even to that mind which is intangible. And then now you're talking about heart and so forth, heart and our tongue and our organs and so naturally they are connected, our brain and so forth, like that. So from the Dharma point of view, we talk even beyond heart and brain. Yeah, something that's, because brain still it's tangible, heart is still tangible, but mind is beyond. So that's why we say body, speech and mind. It's not body, speech and heart. Yeah. But that
It is or it's not body, speech, and heart.
no, it's body,
No.
speech and mind.
Can I ask one more question? I want to ask about like a combination between Cha and dedication, and this concept of giving, like truly giving. Like, so for example, when I think about like giving of anything in samsara, I think like I always feel like in the moment I can really let go, or I can try to get to some place where I let go, but always in my mind it's just like, it's good. I'm stuck here. I'm alive. I'm gonna be able to give this again. It's not like actually cutting off my arm, where I actually give it. So how do we put ourselves in a mind state or whatever to really, really give in the way like you're actually cutting off your arm?
Yeah. Yeah, when you are practicing generosity and so forth, to actually be able to do physically, it comes from, it has to come from a very deep, sincere or strong heart, yeah, for your intention. So that otherwise you would not, and then let alone being able to do it in actuality, you don't even have the intention. Some people, here, so in order to practice, first you bring in your intention in your mind, and then you bring it to your lips, then you say, I will make offerings, I'll give. So this is the way to practice. So when the situation demands, then you won't have any doubt to do that. So this is the practice. So once you have that power in your mind, nothing can obstruct your practice. Yeah. So that's the way of how the short practice is done. So that's why it's your intention. That's why you're imagining, you're visualizing, and then you transform or you multiply this body, as I mentioned earlier. You make this body into wisdom of substance and make offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. You visualize this body as like a wish fulfilling jewel, and whoever wishes whatever they want appears to them exactly like they desire. So that's the way to do. So yes, this the habit that we have in the teachings. Generosity. Some people are so greedy and so stingy and so forth. They are not able to let go, so they start. It's mentioned that you actually learn to give from your right hand to your left. You pass it from one to the left, and from the left to the right. So because of your habit, you're so strongly attached, you don't even want to let go for a moment. So then you practice letting go from one hand to another, at least releasing for a few moments. So that's how you start. So from there you are able to give up nails, meaning pins and nails and buttons and so forth. Then slowly your clothes, your food and possession and so forth. And then later on you can even offer your body. So there's no hesitation on the fear. So that's the way to do. So we need to think, that's why we call aspiration. We say Bodhisattva. So you read the stories of the Bodhisattva, like how they offered their body, for example. One of the life series of Buddha Shakyamuni was a prince who offered his body to a tigress. So like that, then you read their life stories, and then you are inspired by that. If situations happen, then may I be able to give an offer like that. See, if you don't even think, then you wouldn't be able to do it. So then you make that aspiration in you. Yes.
Can you give more modern examples of giving the body away?
You giving your body can, like making available for others to use your body, like you can serve others.
So it's
You
like
can help. Yes.
Okay.
You can help others, serving others, helping, assisting others, like people who are sick and old, and your parents and so forth. How to attending their needs and like that, and then protecting lives. Where there's some kind of someone is hurting others, you go there and then you help.
What was the prince who gave his body to the tigers?
It was one of the life stories of Buddha before he became a Buddha. Like Siddhartha before he became Buddha. He was born as a prince in Nepal, and then there were 3 brothers. They went in the jungle, and then they saw a tigress, and then there were 4 cubs, 4 or 5 cubs, 5 cubs I think, 5 cubs like that. And then the mother tigress was so old that couldn't hunt and feed the cubs anymore. And then as they were talking, like they were saying, the cubs will soon die because the mother is not able to feed them. So then they left that scene and they were heading home. At that time, then this youngest prince, he said, wait a minute, I have to do something. And he went back to the cave, and then he poked his body and offered the blood. And as the tigress started licking the body, and then was nourished and so forth, and then later ate him, and that's how he offered his body. So that's the story of Tamil. So these are, when you talk about generosity, there's the lesser generosity, like offering your possession, like your wealth and so forth, are considered to be a lesser kind of generosity. Then there's the middling kind of generosity, is to offer even your spouse, your partners, your children, your family and so forth, to be able to give up that one. So then the highest kind of generosity is to be able to offer your body. Okay, so like that, so you need to practice. When we have Bodhicitta, then nothing can obstruct that offering. So, okay, now the teaching is done. So then we'll see what we will do for the next class, and then, okay, they will send out email and so forth. So everyone practice, because this is how it brings benefit to all beings. It's called this one medicine, the single soul panacea. That heals everything to bring benefit for all sentient beings. Temporal benefit and lasting happiness comes from Dharma. So then may this Dharma light sentient beings' life, bring this Dharma, shed light in the lives of all sentient beings, and may sentient beings cultivate Bodhicitta and blossom Bodhicitta and awaken Buddhahood, think like that. So let's dedicate. Page 62. Sunnam diye tamche sikbane thomne nebe rannam pamje shin kega nachi balong chukba ye sidbe sole drowa rasho jambe bawo jindara kemba dang kundu zangbo deyang dejin dedai kungi jesu dalu chin gewa deda tamche rabdong Dizun shebe gewa tamje ki owa gangla chodung akpan Dagi gewe zawa dukun chan zangbo cheche rabdu ngora ge Chanchu semcho rimbo che ma ke panam ke juruch Ke ba nyamba me ba dang gongne gondu pelwarasho Chanchu semdai mirdil Chanchu chella shewa dang sangye namge yongzong shin duke lanang pangwarash. Chanchu semba namge ne roden tola gondro sho gombo yene gangongba. Semjen namla dejuru sho semjen tamje de dan denjuruch. Ngöndro tamjen tanto tongbara sho Chanchu semba gangda sajurpa. Teda gunge melam dro parasho gewa deye gewa kun sonam yeshe sozo shin sonam yeshe lejong damba kunne to parasho rinchen getso deye drowa kun tado dambe chedan midre shin ranshin dene zoba tachen chenga drobe jeden ze parasho pende junne temba peljuruch Sera kundu chella chejuruchi, gyalkam kundu trashi gejuruchi, drogun chamche sange tobjuruchi, lama kukam sangwara sewa. Chondu kudzen ringwara sewa dem, chinle darshin gyabara sewa. Lama dan drewa membar jinje lo, pende junne, Gandu gebe gewan tamje du tore yenden dünden to parasho gema tandu chedan tejur. Surjin rube rangwan ye parasho deryan lama damba nejej. Nendan sendu chalai che parasho chedo nene ningbo denrut. Sede sebe janso gewa sho seba dambe cheran denjej. Shemben rola chonge me barsho lapchen jenden chore me bar tamje chamje sangye to barsho chezul de yan nende kilokoro choge thadru kundu dajurute lode pemo rabdu geje sangye temba darshin ge barsho longre tebe mishe dreblende menga sambe tezon munna chong gomjo yeke nelo jejense Shera sumge nawa ge barasho kenlo chesum ringlo zamling sasum chabarampe rojo chosum nawa midre desum gele sho nandra rexum langa che kwenga kuda ye shera ba jamle be sapsa naljo chembe nyamle yerme tuke tigle roje sho kewa kundu yangda lama Dalme cheke pella longje chen sadan lamge yende rabzot palden lame gopa nuroto sho Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi 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 Om Benza Guru Pema Te Tensa Benza Samayanza Sinde Pala Om Benza Guru Pema Te Tensa Benza Samayanza Sinde Pala Om Benza Guru Pema Te Tensa Benza Samayanza Sinde Pala Okay, thank you. Okay, everyone, take care and then practice well. Tashi Delek. And see you soon. Bye bye.